Welcome back to my channel. Thank you. I think I need to say this right now. Thank you all for subscribing to the channel and for watching the content we put out here. So today, it's a brother-sister discussion. I have with me my younger brother, Emmanuel Amodu. Some people call him Omalesha. Some call him the guru. So whatever the case may be. He's my younger brother.
I think AOE is fine. Amodu Omale Emmanuel.
Okay, AOE for short. So that's what we're going to be calling him now. So on today's episode, we'll be discussing issues around parenting and children, how parents are taking care of their children. And this discussion came up from a popular tweet from one of Nigeria's life coach on social media. His name is Solomon Buchi. Let me just read the tweet so that we'll have a background to what we want to discuss today. So the tweet says, "You really don't owe your parents anything. Don't let them manipulate you into feeling that they did you a favor by feeding and housing you and giving you education. You don't owe them for this. I know this will offend some people, but 90% of African parents are entitled and toxic." So these tweets, I don't know, some of you might have seen the tweet, and when it came out, there was a lot of backlash to the life coach that posted it. So AOE and myself will be airing our views on what we think about are our parents really toxic and entitled for sending us to school, giving us houses, and where does toxicity come in as an African parent? So AOE, you've heard the tweets now, and I know you saw the tweet, so what do you think? Let's start with hearing from you.
Okay, so first of all, social media nowadays has giving people the opportunity to see all sorts of things. So I'm not surprised, first of all, to see that he's entitled to his opinion,
Sure.
whether true or untrue. So however it seems, first of all, he's entitled to his opinion. But for me personally, when I saw that tweet, it's absurd to put it mildly. That's putting it mildly, to say that you don't owe your parents anything for housing you, sending you to school and all that is just unthinkable. Sometimes I wonder how people sit down and fathom such,
Yeah.
Aside my own personal conviction, of course, I've known from when we were coming up that,
True.
of course, one of the first things we learned in Sunday school then and the rest is that we should honor our parents, honor your father and your mother.
Yes.
First commandment with the promise and all that. So that's basically it. That's true. But even aside that, it's only logical, There's a saying that one good turn deserves another.
Yeah.
So it's only logical that if someone has put in so much, has laid so much on the line for you,
Yes.
it's only logical that there should be a reciprocation of that. It does not make sense that you are helped to a certain level and then you turn back and say you don't owe this person anything. And I think not just for only this particular fellow that tweeted that, it's something we see on social media a lot nowadays. You see people saying so much like you don't owe anybody anything. Even aside our parents.
Yes.
You owe quite a lot of people a lot. Most people fail to realize that, nobody, and I repeat, nobody, if you consider it keenly, there is nobody in this life that is 100% independent.
Yeah.
One way or the other, from
you eventually
infancy.
have to fall back to someone for help.
Of course, you had to be taught certain things that that you used to be who you are, and you were taught some of those things, sometimes by your parents.
Are you saying it's wrong because of the fact that there are a lot of people on social media that will take this information as the correct information and not probably filtering it and sampling opinions? Is that what makes it really, really wrong?
No, what's wrong is wrong. It's not dependent on that. Even if people would, because I'm sure even from what we saw,
from the thread.
Yes, on the thread. So it's obvious that not quite a lot of people won't agree with it in the first place. But whether anybody agrees or not, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not a matter. It's not wrong because we think that many people believe that and run with it. It's just wrong. I recently saw a term called fractal wrongness online, some days back. That's like wrongness on every different level on every single perspective that you turn it and look at it, it's
It's
still wrong. So that's basically how this is. It's just wrong on every level.
We've actually seen a lot of parents that are not good parents per se, especially towards the children. You get to meet people and they tell you, I can never call my father. Yes. I can never talk to my mother. My mother is a wicked person. My father is a wicked person. So if it's from that angle Solomon is coming from, to some extent, it's understandable. Now, this brings me to the issue of toxicity. Do you think our parents over the years have exhibited that toxic trait, but because of Africa and the way Africa is now, and you have to respect your parents, or African culture, I beg your pardon, tells us that your parents are always right. Do you think that's why it's because we are becoming exposed now? That's why we are seeing that some of these things are actually lapses. Do you think that's the issue where the term toxic parenting is coming out from now?
Well, sincerely, the truth is that before they were parents, they are humans, okay? So, and every human is flawed. So sure. that's one aspect or one angle to look at it from. So, of course, I think personally, I've known people, I've seen people that their parents have been. I have a friend that till today, if anything that concerns calling his dad and relating with his dad, he just tells us that you can't understand. You will see that obviously it has eaten deep into this fellow. There have been occurrences that he just cannot overlook just because this person is his dad. So I think first of all, we are all humans. So humans are flawed. So yes, I think there are parents that can actually or are toxic actually in terms of, and it's basically because maybe they didn't know better or they don't know better. So I understand that to some extent he may have a point in that there are some we've seen even in movies and the rest, and of course it's based on true life story, most of those things. We've seen where parents have actually not even done some of these things he mentioned, housing, education. They didn't do that for their kids, and they still feel that just because they fathered or they
because you are my father, I brought you to the world. So even if tomorrow you make it, you owe me for that.
Yes, just for bringing you into this world. So to some extent we can understand, but it doesn't make the statement
you
right.
Don't owe.
Yes, and what for me particularly, maybe because I'm more of a logical reasoning kind of person.
So I am illogical. The rest of us are illogical.
No. Being a programmer, I've learned to consider things by logic, and so if I'm to take him by statement, what particularly puts me off is that if he had just left it, but he said 90%, and
there's really no data to back that up.
Yes. So that's what he's saying is that if you find 10 parents, virtually 9 of them are toxic, and that cannot be true.
Yes.
So that's what makes that tweet and that opinion entirely wrong. Of course, if he said something like maybe 10% or 5%, of course, then we know that yes, of some certain number of parents can be toxic in that they feel that you are just my child, you should take care of me, whether I did the same for you or not. If peradventure you just managed to blow, you
must get me that house, you must get me that car, provided I brought you into this world.
So that's what makes it wrong, especially the last fact he added.
So are you okay? We are brother and sister now. So do you think we should be okay with being our parents' retirement plans? Okay, we know some of our parents they worked in civil service, they worked at some point, so the government is paying them pension. So do you think you as a child seeing yourself as a retirement plan for your parents, is it overtly wrong?
Okay, first of all, and this is of course my own model, is my dad. Yes. I've seen him say several times that concerning like our younger ones, he has said that we should not think that he's depending on us, that if he's not here, we are sole hope for these ones, that as God lives, of course he has made plans, arrangements. So that's what I'm saying in essence is that in truth, no wise parent, wise as it will actually plan that his child, because you don't know if this child, and no offense, you don't know if this child will actually turn out successful.
Beyond success.
Yes, you don't know
the length of the child's life.
Yes. So it's just reasoning. It's not wise that you say that this child should be my retirement plan. So you should plan for yourself. From when you start working, you should have investments, you should have plans of how
Yes.
you will cater for everything
Yes.
till even the days when you are no longer working. Okay, and that's one important thing why they advocate for family planning and the rest. Even if you are giving birth to children, you should be considering your income and saying that, can I train this child to the uttermost, even to the very last child that you have? So I think that any wise parent should not hope that their children will be their retirement plan. And you as a child, whether you should see yourself as your parents' retirement plan or not, well, I wouldn't say you should see yourself as a parent's retirement plan, but I think, of course, you should know that you owe it to your parents to be gracious and good to them, of course. And some of these things, not always in terms of monetary provision or resources, just being there for them as they get older, in terms of attention.
Sometimes the money is not even enough because there are some things. And
sometimes even some of your parents are more well. They turn out it's the reality. So, but they still value that you give them time. You are there for them when they.
That brings me to this issue of, I remember I saw somebody sent a tweet out on Twitter saying, "Do you give your first salary to your parents?" Then I was reading the comments on that, and a lot of over 50% of those that commented on that thread said yes, they actually gave their first salary or used it to get something for their parents. And some of these guys, their parents are wealthier, their parents are boxed up than them. So for me, this issue of owing your parents, not owing your parents something, I think it all boils down to gratitude.
Yes.
It's not really about you saying, because these people train me now, that's not it. I think for everybody that has shown you love, everybody that has shown you care, everybody that has been there for you, it does not even necessarily have to be monetary. There are some people that impact things in you and it's not money per se. So I think you owe them something. You owe them the fact that I want to be grateful for this thing that you have done for me. So maybe the word owe springs from debt. Saying that you are indebted to them. So I think probably that's the issue we're having. But for me, it's gratitude. If tomorrow I become very rich, of course I'm going to become stinkingly rich, my people. Sure. We owe our loved ones everything. What do you think, AOE?
Of course, we owe them everything. I was sharing some days back on your birthday of how when I started out to learn programming, when I started learning to code, how you sponsored some of my courses. So peradventure, so let's say next 4 years, I actually come up with a very good idea. I own a startup. I'm working somewhere very good. It doesn't even make sense that I later say that I don't owe you anything. Does it? So that's just quite a clear example that we actually owe those that are dear to us. We owe them. And if we don't use the word we should be grateful to those that are dear to us for all they've done. Okay, so
you've heard our opinion, myself and AOE. He's my younger brother, please. He's still my small brother. You guys should not look at Z and think that probably.
What's the meaning of that? My head for what?
I think he's older than me. He's my younger brother, so that's what we think. Let's just imbibe the gratitude culture. Totally. Basically, let's imbibe the gratitude culture and do better. Even as children, we should be working towards becoming better parents. We've seen mistakes made by our parents, so we want to do better than what they have done and make life better for our own children eventually. Please, I am my parents' retirement plan.
Okay, so and just to say something, basically, if you find yourself in a situation where your parents are actually toxic, the truth is, as much as you might not be interested in, you don't even just want to have anything to do with them. My advice personally, and this is, I'm just telling you my opinion because of my convictions and my personal beliefs, is that there's a blessing that comes from when your parents are not, even if they are not good people per se, that you don't disregard or dishonor your parents. It doesn't need to get to that level that you insult your parents or stuff like that. You can just let them be and just trust that maybe one day they'll realize that they've actually been toxic. But taking the road of insulting them, of
Yeah.
It's not just, there's a blessing attached to not actually honoring your parents,
Yes.
even
Correct.
if they are not good people.
True.
That's just what I think.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for watching this episode on my channel. Thank you for joining me.
Anytime.
Thank
sure.
you, young man, for
That's one of the things I owe you.
for being a guest on this our episode today. So don't forget to subscribe, to like, drop your comments. I want to hear what you think on gratitude and us owing our parents something. Okay, whether they are entitled or toxic, what do you think? So subscribe, like, and drop your comment. Thank you for watching. Ciao, ciao. Bye.